voltage control of single phase inverter. So different types of methods of voltage control. So why it is required? So now due to the following reasons, the output of the inverter is required to control. So first, the output voltage of the inverter is changes with the input source voltage. So the output should be maintained at required value of the voltage. Second, to change or to adjust the change in the voltage in inverter. Third, in some cases, the change is required in output voltage with change in frequency, in special case of the motor. Different methods of voltage control. So there are two types of methods are used for the controlling the voltage of the inverter. First, external control. Second, internal control. First, in external control, in this method you can see the one AC voltage controller is connected between inverter and the AC load. So the whatever the voltage applied to the load can be changed by the AC voltage controller, and to maintain the output voltage or the input voltage of the load. Now next, internal control. So there are two types of internal controls. That means it is inbuilt in the inverter. So first is inverter series inverter control, and second, pulse width modulation control. It is also called PWM control method. First, let me see series inverter control. So in this this method is also known as a multiple inverter control. So in this type of methods, two or more than two inverters are used. In this figure we are using only two inverters. Now the inverter output of the both inverter is applied to the primary winding of the transformer. Here you can see the output of inverter A is applied to this primary winding of this transformer 1, and an output of this inverter B is connected to the primary winding of the transformer T2. Now the secondary winding of both transformers are connected in series. So here V1 is induced EMF in the secondary winding of the transformer T1, and V2 is the induced EMF in the secondary winding of the transformer T2. Now here you can see the vector diagram. So there is a alpha angle between these two voltages due to the inductance of the secondary winding coil. So we will get resultant V. That is the net V available across the load terminal. Now here you can we can connect load across these two terminals of the secondary winding. Now let me see the secondary winding of voltage. We have seen V1 and V2. So therefore the load voltage V is equal to, we can write under root V1 square plus V2 square plus 2V1 V2 sine alpha. Alpha, that is it is the angle between voltage V1 and V2. Where what is this alpha? Alpha, it is nothing but the firing angle of the inverter. Now we suppose if alpha is equal to 0, then our equation becomes under root V1 square plus V2 square plus 2V1 V2 sine 0. Sine 0, that means 0. So our equation becomes V is equal to under root V1 plus V2 whole square, or we can write V1 plus V2. Now if alpha is equal to 90 degree or pi degree, that means our equation becomes under root V1 square plus V2 square minus 2V1 V2 sine 180. That means sine 180, that means 1. Sine 180, that means sine 180, that means what is minus 1. 0, 1. Okay, then we can write V1 minus V2 whole square, or V is equal to V1 minus V2. So if we change the firing angle of inverter, it will change the load voltage. That means the load voltage can be changed by changing the firing angle of the inverter. Now next method, pulse width modulation control. That means PWM. So this is the most important or efficient method. So the fixed DC voltage is applied to the inverter, and the output of AC voltage is controlled by the change in the on and off period time of the active devices. That means whatever SCR or thyristor is used. So now there are three types of methods is used for the PWM. First, single pulse width modulation, multi-pulse width modulation, and third, sinusoidal pulse width modulation. First we see single pulse width modulation. So here in this method only one pulse is generated during the 1/2 cycle. That's why it is called single pulse width. Remember, it is most important. In this method only one pulse is generated during the 1/2 cycle. So the output of this output voltage of the inverter can be controlled by the controlling the width of pulse. That means the output voltage of inverter, it depends on the width of the pulse. So if we change the pulse, it will change the output voltage. Now next, here you can see it is this is the wave form. So in this we are taking one reference signal, which is known as a VR, and it has some magnitude. Here you can see we are taking VR reference signal, amplitude reference signal VR, and we are taking another signal which is called carrier wave signal. Carrier wave signal, which is in shape of triangular. It is available in the triangular wave shape. So we see that is a amplitude triangular carrier wave. Now this reference signal and carrier signal is compared to generate the pulse. Generate the pulse. Okay. When the value of carrier signal is equal to reference signal. Here you can see the value of carrier signal is equal to reference signal. It will generate gate signal. Here you can see. Here you can see. Now still it is available. It becomes 0. Then it carrier signal increasing. After this it is increased. Now at this time the carrier signal is greater than this reference signal. That means it cannot generate signal. So during this period we will get the gate pulse, and this is B. It is nothing but the width of the gate signal. Here you can see. Now similarly it is in negative direction. We will get another gate pulse during the negative half cycle. Now the width of gate pulse, the width of this gate pulse can be varied from 0 to 180 degree. 0 to 180 degree. So we will get control signal varies from 0 to 1 by controlling the reference signal from 0 to VR. So if we are changing the value of this reference voltage up to 0 to VR, we will get the firing angle of the inverter from 0 degree to 180 degree. Now the frequency of output voltage. The frequency of the output voltage, it depends on the reference signal frequency. The frequency of output voltage depends on the frequency of reference signal. So the ratio of VR and VC. The ratio of VR and VC is called modulation index, and it is denoted by M. So we can write M is equal to VR by VC. Now next, multi-pulse width modulation. In this method, the higher carrier frequency VC signal is generated is compared with the VR amplitude reference signal. Here you can see the carrier frequency is higher than the single pulse width modulation. Here you can see. So when the value of carrier signal becomes equal to the reference signal, the gate signal is generated. Now the magnitude of these pulses are equal, and these pulses are used to control the output voltage of the inverter. Now the numbers of gate pulse available or the numbers of gate pulse depends on the carrier frequency. Here it depends on the carrier frequency. Now it produces less harmonics in the output. So here you can see with 0 to pi we will get 3 gate pulses, and it can be varied by the carrier frequency. So if still we are increasing the carrier frequency, it will increase the number of gate pulse generated during the 0 to 180 degree period. Now next, sinusoidal pulse width modulation. That means sine PWM. In this method, here you can see the carrier signal. The carrier signal, it is in sinusoidal waveform instead of triangular waveform. So when carrier signal VC is taken in this carrier signal, here you can see the carrier signal is VC is taken as a triangular wave. So what will be the difference? Here we are taking sinusoidal waveform as a reference signal. That means your VR. So the width of these pulses, due to this, here you can see the width of these pulses is not equal because the reference signal is taken as a sinusoidal waveform. So the amplitude of this sinusoidal signal is not constant. It is continuously vary with respect to time. So the magnitude of this wave pulse, it is also changes or it is different. Now the signal of carrier, when the value of the carrier signal becomes equal to the reference signal, the gate signal is generated. So the frequency of the inverter output depends on the reference signal frequency, and the amplitude of this signal VR control the modulation index M. The numbers of pulse per half cycle depends on the carrier frequency. So if we change the carrier frequency, it will change the numbers of pulse generated during the half cycle or half cycle period. Let me see the advantage. So the output wave frequency can be changed less or more than from its rated value. So by using this method, we will get wide range of speed control for the motor. Second, one then more motor can be driven by only one inverter. Now the power factor is good for each frequency, and the diode input stage provides a way at the time of input power interruption. Disadvantage, the logic circuit for drive is very complicated. Now operation is not simple for the more than 120 Hz frequency.